You know, the good thing about America is that you know, sometimes we get to these bottlenecks and we get stuck and you have these sharp partisan fights, but the American people pretty steadily are common sense and practical.
Yeah, and they think you should get out of office.
That common sense, practical approach wins out. And I think that's what will happen here.
And that's why you're having a fight.
Just to make the final point about the sequester, we will get through this. This is not going to be a apocalypse, I think, as some people have said.
You said.
It's just done.
You don't want to make it out to be that.
It's going to hurt individual people, and it's going to hurt the economy overall.
Because your choices.
If Congress comes to its senses a week from now, a month from now, 3 months from now, then there's a lot of open running room there for us to grow our economy much more quickly.
Yeah.
And advance the agenda of the American people dramatically.
Yeah.
And so, you know, this is a temporary stop on what I believe is the long-term outstanding prospect for American growth and greatness. Thank you very much.
President Obama in a last-minute appearance in the Brady briefing room in front of the White House.
Bull crap.
He doesn't particularly like to speak to the White House press corps, but he does so when he has a bigger point that he wants to get across, and he did so today, talking a little bit about the meeting that he had with Mitch McConnell, John Boehner, and and Democratic leaders of Congress as well in the White House, talking about the sequester that kicks in later today. Paul Jagot is editorial page editor of the Wall Street Journal. You and I were sitting here watching this together. I saw you shaking your head a number of times.
Yeah.
Presidential prevarication.
Well, he is. What this boils down to is the president is trying to use the damage that he says will take place under the sequester, the cuts, automatic cuts, to essentially extract the tax increase from Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want to give them more revenue because 2 months ago we just passed the biggest tax increase in 20 years. So they don't want to do that, and that's why the president, who I think has flexibility under this law to actually ease the harm that's done under the cuts, doesn't want to do that. He wants to lay out the parade of horribles.
Of course.
And put pressure on the Republicans.
Right.
He said that the Republicans have offered to replace this set of arbitrary cuts with a set of worse arbitrary cuts.
Well, they want to ease some of the cuts on defense, in particular, the Republicans do. But they've offered to give him more flexibility, and if he would take that and take the revenue off the table and negotiate just over alternative spending, I think they could get a deal relatively rapidly. It's the revenue portion of this, the tax increase, that is the big stumbling block.
Yeah.
I wonder if he was reading Peggy Noonan's column in your paper today, in which she said that his effort or his strategy seems to be to scare people as much as possible and let the media take care of the rest.
Well, I think it's hard to disagree with that strategy at that point, after the last week. You've seen it in terms they brought out just about every single cabinet member to say, this is the horrible thing that I have to impose. This is the damaging thing that's going to happen. The president today was a little more modulated, saying, well, maybe it's not Armageddon. It's just an accumulation of bad things, but it's still a parade of disaster that he's preaching that is going to, he hopes, ratchet up the political pressure on Republicans.
All right. With some leadership, he could change this. He could fix it.
Yeah.
I think he already has the flexibility to ease it, number one, and then if he would just take the tax increase off the table and say, look, let's work this out on spending, I think he can get a deal quickly.
Yeah.
Paul Jagot, I'm sure you'll be talking about it tomorrow on the Journal Editorial Report.
I'm glad to get
That's
that.
tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Fox News Channel.
Man.
Thank you.
Well, some major developments in another debate.